we're moving on, right, to worst of the week. Right?
Is it worst of the week time? Yeah, it is worst of the weekend.
I think we got there.
Thank God we have a guy.
Us. We've got a pace going on.
All right, worst of the week. Let's see it.
All right. Well,
the winner.
It's just time to bring it back. I'm just going to play it, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna set it up. Worst of the week is always, there's always so many people to choose from, but we felt like it was time. So this is the former Speaker of the House speaking on CNN.
They're in front of my house all the time. So I have a feeling for what feelings they have, but we have to think about what we're doing. And what we have to do is try to stop the suffering and gossip. This is women and children, people who don't have a place to go. So let's address that. But for them to call for a ceasefire is Mr. Putin's message. Mr. Putin's message. Make no mistake, this is directly connected to what he would like to see. Same thing with Ukraine. It's about Putin's message. I think some of these protesters are spontaneous and organic and sincere. Some, I think, are connected to Russia. And I say that having looked at this for a long time now. As you know,
think some of these protests are Russian plants?
I say they're plants. I think some financing should be investigated. And I want to ask the FBI to investigate that.
I mean, that is quite a tactic to call 80% of your base treasonous, like on the payroll of Russia.
Yeah, and as somebody who literally protested in front of her house.
Your finances are about to be picked apart by the IRS.
Please look at my finances. Find me some tax breaks. Find the money. If you could find me any money, that would be phenomenal. But like, okay, we protested in front of her house, and who was it? It was the Red Beret movement. It was Medicare for All people. It was Jason Call, who was right. Cornel West's chair, campaign co-chair.
Yep.
I mean, these are known people with known addresses who are literally video. All of us and the people who organized in other parts are in that video that what's the movie called? I don't know.
Healing Us.
Healing Us. You can find, you can research and Google and find our names. And we are like just one day's worth of protesting in front of our house. But I guarantee there is not a concerted effort by China to protest in front of Nancy Pelosi's house.
Russia.
China, well,
China was the next thing she did. I know we have that video also. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these are the groups calling for a ceasefire. The Arizona and Texas Democratic Party, 80% of Democrats, 60% of Americans, thousands of Black pastors, Doctors Without Borders, the UAW, voters overwhelmingly want a ceasefire. And so this tactic of labeling anybody who wants peace as a traitor and on the payroll of, the awful, and by the way, it used to be like communism, but now it's just Russia, which, remember when Joy Reid said something about Russia being communist or Putin being a communist, which is hilarious. But anyway, but this tactic of just smearing the left is, as old as, yeah,
it's old, but it's also tried and true. It works less because obviously younger people are getting their media less and less from these places where they're watching. So the problem is it still works enough to put up a facade that works with liberals who aren't like the other statistics we showed that 80% of Americans, Democrats support a ceasefire. Like CNN doesn't report on that. So they're not seeing that. They're just seeing Nancy Pelosi, and they're seeing some of these other, if you're a dedicated liberal and you're maybe older and all you do is watch CNN and MSNBC, you're not getting that other data that proves her wrong, like clearly. So you might believe her narrative that all these protesters are getting backed by Russia.
Yeah, they all have to be some sort of like outside agent infiltrators. And again, I mean, to basically, she's calling for an investigation of the Democratic base, which, I mean, when you look at what's happening right now, we have Biden is losing in every single swing state. I know you can't see that. Sorry, the graphic is so much bigger when I first pull it, but Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Nevada, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Losing in all of those states. He's lost. He's lost
just every state that it takes to actually stop the fascist.
Right. That's it. That's it.
Everyone.
Because not all, because there's so many reasons that he is wildly unpopular, but it really started plummeting with this, support of a genocide with no red lines. And now all of the things that they warned us about, the environment with Trump, you have to vote for Biden because he'll be better on the environment. Nope, he's worse. You have to vote if you want any movement on police. Nope, he's funding them more. How about the military? Trump is so chaotic, he'll start World War III. We are bombing 4 countries right now with no congressional oversight or approval. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who's going to make the case that is Trump worse? I don't know. I mean, I know he's like garish and gross, but like
the case they have to make is abortion. That is the number one case they're going to try to make. And you still have to look at it and say, look, we lost all these rights under Biden, Mr. Bipartisan, we should have good Democrat, good Republicans. We should work across the aisle. The only success he sort of had was the bipartisan infrastructure bill. So they had the genius idea of taking the only thing that could possibly be successful and help people, which was because of the COVID and the pandemic, people needed this help, and they tacked a bipartisan on it. He has nothing. Like, he's going to run on preventing abortion rights from getting worse than they got under his own presidency. That's his biggest win, is that he lost abortion rights.
That he lost abortion rights, that he could have codified it, that he said he would, and now they're saying just give us back the House, or give us back the House, and what they're not even promising anything. Actually,
they're
just saying it will get worse.
Look, he can't win. First off, he's not going to win. But if he did win, it would never be a sweeping win that brought in enough votes to get back the House. So you're in this scenario where nothing can be done, period. And if you vote for him, it's depressing.
We already saw him with the House and the Senate. We saw that. That was the first 2 years. He got nothing done. He stripped all of the protections that had come into place under Trump. And then And
anytime they bring up student loan debt, as they're trying to pretend it's a win and advertise it, if you advertise and you promote yourself as somebody who did something on student loan debt, that turns off more people than it appeals to, because everyone who has student loan debt knows you have to hit the lottery to have gotten any forgiveness.
Yeah, it's like 0.03% of debt has been forgiven.
Right. So celebrating that as a win turns people off. Celebrating COVID as a win turns a lot of people off. Celebrating that you're not the war president turns a lot of people off because they look around. Celebrating anything that he is trying to pretend as a win is not a win. And everybody sees it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, he's running on, he started now, the only thing that they kind of keep going back to a little bit, they do Roe v. Wade, but I think they're kind of realizing that that's not such a winning argument, because they could have codified it in his first 2 years. They're talking about LGBTQT rights. That is their last, it's always, a social issue, which, by the way, as these rights are getting stripped in different states, there are things that as the leader of the country, he could do with federal funds to try to whip states into adhering to civil rights for all of the members of their state. So he's doing none of that.
Of course, and I don't remember which states, but you know, there were some federal programs canceled. Like you couldn't, your federal program couldn't go to certain states for conferences because they had LGBT, you know, anti-LGBT legislation, et cetera, et cetera. We don't hear about any of that. They're not even having that fight. So to pretend to have that fight, suddenly right before the election is crazy. And like, I mean, this comes back to the climate change people, which we love, Climate Defiance. I do love them. Friends of the show, we had them on, but they were recently celebrating that that Biden agreed to stop new expansion of liquefied
natural gas, LNG.
You know, and look, anything stopping growth is a win, I suppose, but like, you can't really celebrate in an election year a temporary stop to something that expands things. Like that's not the kind of win that saves our country at all.
Slower rate of increase.
Yeah, it's Obamacare. It's like celebrating.
Yeah.
It's like celebrating Obamacare when you know the outcome of Obamacare.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's the same thing what he's doing with the border bill now. The border bill now where he is I can't tell if you're talking. No, that was you finishing your sentence. That lag is crazy. Between my red face and your lag and me getting frozen, I am really sorry, but I'm so distracted. I feel like I'm going to wear a mask in my house all by myself just to cover this up. I don't know why it's so red. I need to find a good light for myself.
My lag has gotten really worse. I'm gonna be here, but I'm gonna remove my camera for a second and see.
All right. Oh my God! Why would you do that? I didn't need that. What?
Look at that red nose.
I know it's terrible. I need to be. Yeah, that's much better. Look at that. The border bill, which is disgusting. It is worse than anything proposed by. It's almost exactly what Republicans want. So now Biden is giving them exactly all these draconian measures that, as the leader of the country, he can shut down the border whenever he wants. So basically, if that bill were supported by Republicans, and of course, Democrats are going to line up behind it because they want to give Biden a win, which is throwing migrants under the bus. But so now that's the starting point. And Republicans, you give them everything that's their exact bill. And now they're going to fight against it just the way they did with the Heritage Foundation's Romney Care, which was Obamacare. Right. And now they hate it. They loved it when it was Romney.
And Democrats are running on tough on the border now. Like, because they just like, what the fuck are we doing? This has woken a lot of people up to how feckless the Democratic Party is. Now, they don't know what to do with that now. They're like, what do we fucking do? And that's the question, but that's why you support every protest. You support every action to withhold funds from any evil, anything in the world, and get out there and raise some hell. But like, you can't just vote for these fucking losers like Biden. I'm sorry. If it means Trump wins, I don't fucking care. We have to do something else.
Voting the lesser evil, has not worked. We've been doing that for 50 years. So you cannot say that works. And at least, I mean, listen, I hate Trump. I hate the sound of his voice. I hate his stupid tweets. I hate the chaos. And Biden does all the same stuff, but just more quietly. But at least when Trump was in, like, look what happened. Me Too, gone. Black Lives Matter, gone. You know, protesting the police, gone. Talking about the environment, the migrants in cages, like all of that. Silence, COVID, the death ticker, gone. So like, I don't know. I actually don't know if it's harm reduction to have somebody like Biden in power. I really don't.
I don't think it is at this point. I lean more
anybody
towards.
Can argue it. Yeah.
But see, when you say you lean towards accelerationism, like I kind of do now, that generally is like, there's an assumption behind it, like, oh, let's let it get so bad that people see it's going to change. And I'm not convinced that it's going to get that much. It's not going to get worse is the thing. I don't think that's the right term anymore. Like, it's not acceleration. It's not accelerating us to worse.
I mean, I feel like Biden was the accelerationist.
And if Trump's in power, it's worse for how our country like self-identifies. It's worse for LGBT people, probably Q plus people. It's probably worse for immigrants. In a lot of ways, these are realities. It probably is. Yeah. It's more, the racism is more out in front for you.
Right.
But when you get to the policy, and when you get to, when that's the case, that our government is so overtly a certain way, the public is raising up and fighting it more, which puts pressure on the news to report on it more,
right,
which puts more pressure on the legislation to fight against it more.
Right.
So is it a net wash? I don't know, but we don't get closer to a good functional society by ignoring all the flaws of the Democratic Party. And you can't vote for the Democratic Party over and over again and not be co-signing some of these policies. And genocide in Palestine is the clearest one of all, and it's why they're going to lose for sure in 2024, which is
for sure. This is a Michigan ad. This is really powerful.
Who cares about the Arab population? 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 Who cares about the Arab population?
I mean, it is politics of fear. You have got to be scared of the people you are supposed to represent leaving you. They're scared of their donors, and that's why they do their bidding. They don't want that money gone. They're not scared. They call us traitors who are on Putin's payroll, or tell, Code Pink to go back to their Chinese headquarters. It's like the disregard that they have for anything that their voters care about. It is just so clear. I know we all know this isn't a democracy, but they're not even pretending anymore. Like, there's no part of them that is pretending that they care about what their voters want.
It's right out in the public. It's in the public's eye. They see, the one hope we have is that Palestine is the one issue. I think that everybody, like, we haven't seen 80% support for something that our politicians are against so overtly, and the media is propping up so overtly. So maybe that wakes some people up. Maybe there's something good comes out of that. But the closer we get to the election, the more it's going to shift to even more propaganda on the TV. We're going to get less actual, once in a while, some real reporting will pop through, like Joanne Reed saying, Biden got us into another fucking war. I don't know if you guys heard that off mic clip, but
that was pretty good. That was good. But then you still have AOC, running cover for genocide and saying, listen, there are some issues, but that can't be a red line. Like, what is your red line, lady? Your ruckus. What's your ruckus red line? That's not it. She's telling people to grow up. You have to be adult about this. No, I am an adult, and I will never vote for this kind of corruption, ever, ever. My last vote for corruption was so awful, but in 2016, I voted for Hillary after working for Bernie and all that kind of stuff. I was like, it can't be Trump, and I will just never do that again. That was it.
Well, I'm better than you because I didn't. So
you are better than I am. See, that's twice. You were right once on this show, and
I think I was right at least twice tonight.
I'm totally.
We should have a ticker. We need a ticker.
Let's get some graphics. Get that into StreamYard. Okay. Do we have anything else? We have other things, but that's kind of it. I was sort of curious. I know we're pretty much at the end, but Cornel West released a video today, and I just, we just have the still from it. I didn't think we would have time to show the video, but he's doing this Justice for All party. Yeah, it was. It was good. It makes sense because in some states it's easier to get on the ballot if you're an independent, and in some states there are fewer. He's
running as an independent And then also as the justice for all.
Right.
Like, that's the moral of it. I mean,
mostly I just want, like, I would love to have 3-4 extra left-leaning parties, the Green Party, the Justice for All Party, the PSL. Like, great, let's get them all going on. Like, obviously, I don't think, there is a chance that RFK Jr. could win. Like, there is like the slimmest bit of a chance if enough people stay home one way or the other, and who knows. Like, right now, there does not seem to be much of a chance for any of the left people whom I would vote for. But the project, I think, has to be to start gaining power for more left parties. So,
Yeah. And to be totally honest about it, like, our revolution should have turned into a political party.
Yeah.
It should have. And instead it turned into shilling for the Democratic Party and, kind of a mess, unfortunately. But that was our opportunity. So, look, if you're a Green Party person, a West person, or whatever person, RFK Jr., but you're probably not, if you're watching me, because I fucking hate that guy. He's trash. He's the worst on COVID of all of them.
I mean, he's horrible on COVID. He's horrible on Israel. He's horrible on the border. Awful. Like, he's awful.